You're right, guys, and welcome to the latest episode of Muscle Owl Talks. We thought we'd do a real quick episode on the Action Duchenne Conference 2017. The Action Duchenne Conference, I'll just say, I was always really surprised by because of how awesome it is, actually, and the wealth of information, the wealth of speakers there, the diversity of it as well. So much from a research perspective, but also then so much from a patient perspective and a people community perspective as well, for families, parents, people there. And again, referring back to the science side of it, again, I think I always say no stone left unturned on the science side, all the different stuff on the research and the clinical trials. So, yeah, I think, Lynnette, if you want to talk a little bit about it, and Diana, from your side of it, why should people go to the Action Duchenne Conference?
Well, last year was my first year, and we'd been diagnosed for a year. So we were, I guess, classed as newly diagnosed families at the time, and obviously I was there working at the conference. I was also heavily pregnant, but that's another story. I think if I'd gone without having experienced, people from within the community, having worked alongside young people and adults living with Duchenne, I think I would have been really nervous. I think it would have been quite frightening to think about. You see things and you hear things that really drive it really home. But on the flip side of that, you see the hope, you see the positivity, you see adults living with Duchenne talking about their relationships, talking about going and, having beers with their friends. You get support from families who've been going to the conference for ages. I had a conversation with the family on the last day, and they, she put her arms around me and we ended up having a tear. And it was amazing because she had an older son, and just kind of everyone understands. So I think the biggest lesson that I learned from it is that everybody in that whole room, or any number of the rooms, because obviously it's enormous, 3 or 4 rooms that are full of people, every single person in that room understands and gets it. So if you're sitting there and it all gets a bit much, if you walk out, no one is going to worry or be judgmental. You just walk into the next room and you go and sit down and you hear about something else. You can go to the bar and have a drink, or you can. It's not like it's full on. If you want to go to every single talk and discussion and group, you can take some time out. For me, by the end of it, I was so excited I couldn't sleep. Every night. It was a really hard experience for a heavily pregnant woman, because I was so excited. My head was just pummeled with information and support and knowledge, and I was seeing people that I chatted to online, and meeting other newly diagnosed families was just amazing. I also saw young guys, teenagers, who perhaps were coming for the first time with their mum and dad, or grandparents, or care, or PAs, and they were really kind of, some boys were quite nervous coming to the conference. But you could see they were making friends and chatting to other people, and you could see kind of addresses being swapped, and that was amazing. And I loved the whole teenager and adult side. For me is really important, because I want to pave the way for boys, like my son who's 5. When he gets to be a teenager, I want him to know that he can go online, or he can go to the conference and see people that he suddenly becomes normal, whatever normal is, because everyone at the conference is in the same boat. So that was last year. This year, it's different. It's going to be different. We've got a whole section dedicated to Becker. So, Becker muscular dystrophy. I'm sure Diana can give more information about it, about what the difference is. But we've never done anything at the conference specifically for Becker before, and this year we're doing it. So we're inviting the entire Becker community to come together to share experiences, to get support, to learn about that part of the condition specifically. So that's amazing for us. We're also focusing on making it a bit more interesting and brilliant for the teenagers. So we've got a room dedicated to the teenagers, much in the same way that we have the DMD Pathfinders room where the adults come together and share their knowledge. We've got a bit of a fun room. We've got stuff going on, which hopefully the teenagers will find a bit more interesting, techie stuff and games, and hopefully have some music playing. It's just going to be more relaxed. It's not going to be, how to write a CV. None of that. It's just going to be a good laugh. So I touched on the DMD Pathfinders again, a parallel session running the entire weekend where the adults come together, spearheaded by the DMD Pathfinders guys, John and Mark, who both of them in themselves are a huge inspiration to me personally. When I saw John last year, I just wanted to hug him, and I thought I'm going to back off because that's a bit obsessive. But these guys, the DMD Pathfinders, two families, they're like royalty, because these guys are proving what can be done. That it's not all doom and gloom. It really isn't. Guys getting married and having kids and having amazing jobs, traveling. It's inspirational, really. So that's huge. And also we have the ability to sign people up for one-to-one sessions with the exhibitors. So we've worked really hard on getting more exhibitors this year, appropriate to the condition, kind of hand-picked. And we work with the families to get one-to-one sessions, so you can actually sit down in an appropriate time for you and come and find out more about something. Perhaps it's where you want to go on holiday, or you're thinking about getting a new style wheels, or you're looking to get your first wheels for your young child. Whatever it may be, we can. The exhibitors can help, and we'll be sending out email later on in the year to the people that have signed up to register and allocate their time. But also there's the carrier side, which was really interesting. I went to the carrier workshop, which we hosted last week. And although I'm not a carrier of Duchenne myself, it was very, very interesting, because there's lots of things as a female, whether you're a carrier, a manifesting carrier, a non-carrier, things that could affect your family and future children. So that was really interesting, and we run sessions and support sessions as well for carriers. And actually, it's a really good opportunity for for ladies to get together, for the mums and aunties and grandmothers and partners to come together and actually just share kind of experiences and knowledge and bits and pieces that are surrounding that. So yeah.
So I think Lynnette gave a fantastic overview of our conference and the breadth that we cover, because when for us it's a highlight. I hope it's a highlight for the wider international community. So it's really great to see families and young people and healthcare professionals all come together from different countries. So last year we had over 30 countries, which is fantastic, which shows that the collaboration, but it shows what we're trying to achieve together and what we can learn from each other, but also to make new friends and contacts. And there's also that element. So I hope it's a highlight for everyone. But I think what's unique and what we want the conference and the event to be really aspirational and useful and informative for the whole community is that this year there are differences. So Lynnette did a fantastic overview. The only things I would add to that is the fact that DMD Pathfinders are integral to our conference. So they have been involved, and adults and teenagers have been involved since the beginning of putting the program together. They are showing us the issues that they face and what they are tackling as themselves and as an organization, but what they think that we need to come together as a community and discuss. So the Pathfinder sessions are we really want the adults, everyone to be there as well, and to not just think about it that those are the adult sessions, because I think everyone can learn from that, and we want everyone to be inclusive. Everyone can come and join us in these discussions, but also I think there are some different elements to the conference. So for the first time, we're going to have an adult symposium, and this is a bit more like what you would see a bit more of a scientific conference. So why did we decide to do an adult symposium? There hasn't really been many meetings in which we specifically discuss adult and clinical trial research. involving everyone. So I'm thinking adults themselves, I'm thinking parents, I'm thinking young people, but also all the different types of healthcare professionals, industry, everyone coming together and discussing the work that they're doing, but also the obstacles they're facing, what we could do as a community to address it. Because I think there's so much activity in, the pediatric space, and there's starting to be some activity in teenagers and adults. But I think as our collective objective should be to think about the whole community, I think it's really important. I really want to highlight that session because that's the first time that we are doing that as part of a formal symposium at the conference. So, and I'm also talking to healthcare professionals who might be viewing this as well. We really want this, as many different countries to come and really take part in this discussion and really shape the agenda for teenagers and adults, for ourselves, but also the work that we're doing with other stakeholders as well. It's really important that you're there, contribute to that discussion. And different elements I want to bring to the table. So we've got a few lunchtime lectures on different aspects. So one on looking at mobile research nurses coming to your homes as part of the clinical trial process. And that's also a different avenue to look at and to consider as well. But also different sessions that we've got this year are around the ethics. So we've got an ethicist coming to our conference for the first time and talking about actually best practice for ethics. What do you need to know? When you're signing all these different technical jargon, informed consent and assent, and what does that mean? What do you need to know? What do you need to think about when you are faced with these papers and you sign on the dotted line? So that's a different element that we're bringing to the conference, but lots of different sessions, including more scientific sessions we've got this year. So we've got a really big guided tour for research posters and abstracts. So I know that some people think that research posters are boring, but I think it's important to come along because I think I want everyone to feel like they go away learning something different, right? And it's really good to see new groups, younger scientists working in Duchenne, and you think, I didn't know that group was working on that, or really, that's really interesting.
Diana, what actually are the research posters? I didn't understand what these were before.
Mm-hmm. So posters are what you would, if you think about an A1 or an A0, so a large sheet, and a poster is a summary of a project that you're working on. So you would start with what's the aims, and then what are my methods? So how am I going to come to those conclusions? And then you have like a couple of pictures or maybe a diagram, and then you've got conclusions. It is a really great way of getting in a good chunk of information, but in an accessible way. And what we have done this year is we've invited our healthcare professional colleagues and our contacts to submit what they're going to present earlier. So we've awarded a prize for the best poster subject, and they're going to present as a formal presentation, which is really important. But what's really great is the breadth of the poster. So we've got new younger scientists, we've got more senior academics, so perhaps from the consultants, but we've also got pharmaceutical companies presenting their posters. And it's not just a poster slapped on a piece of a wall at the conference, it's someone talking through what they're doing and answering questions, which I think is really, really engaging. So that's really great. But we've also got some really great overview sessions about what's coming in the preclinical. So I've spoke about preclinical before. So preclinical is you think about all the analysis done in the laboratory. So whether it's in a petri dish where you look at muscle cells, or whether you do things in animal models, and it could be in dogs, in mice, or in rats. And it's about what's coming in Duchenne, what will come to the clinic next year, what's looking promising. So we've got some good sessions, and I think I want everyone to also look ahead at new potential avenues. So that's really, really great. And also we've got overviews on clinical trials in a really good digestible way, because obviously I appreciate there are so many clinical trials happening in the Duchenne space, but many more sessions. Another one is going to be an updated standards of care guidelines. So we are hoping that by the end of the year, early next year, there will be an updated version of standards of care guidelines. So what does that mean? Right. So you saw in 2010, there was a publication in Lancet, right? A big fancy journal. But what came out of it was a family guide. And it broke down the, all the different aspects of Duchenne and how you best manage it in a really accessible way. So we actually got to get someone who's an expert and a clinician to present on what those updated guidelines will be. And that's really important that you come to that session and you get the information. Obviously, we will do more work with others to ensure that you're very clear, but do come along to that session. That's really important as well. And we've got some great sessions on the Sunday about learning and behavior, which is really important if that's an issue for you, but also on stats and trend and data in Duchenne, because there's lots of data being presented. And I think it's really important with regulatory, but also important for clinical trials as well. So many different aspects of the conference this year, including, what we're really excited about is the fact that we've included more sessions because we want it to be as useful for the community in the UK, but in the international community as possible. So it is 2.5 days, but it is packaged in the way that I think there'll be something that you will enjoy. You really will learn so much in the process, and you will meet some really incredible people. Yeah. And I think, don't feel intimidated, as Lynnette said. She described perfectly her own personal journey, which I think is probably in common with most families. But if you feel like it is a bit much, and you want to speak to ourselves either over coffee or just leave, if you want to leave the building, absolutely do that. But what I want to also reassure you is that there are some fantastic support sessions at the conference, because we've got a really great psychologist who's also a dad, and he's got some great sessions over the 2 days for family members, but also for those who are just starting their journey. And these are not formal sessions. It's for you to really just say, this is what I'm facing, how can you help? So I really hope that all those sessions are engaging and informative, and I'm really delighted to see the breadth of the sessions this year. And I really hope that we see as many fantastic people who come and learn something at the conference. And if you've got any questions, you're unsure about coming, and any of that, then do contact us. We're prepared to answer any questions, but just come along and meet all the great people from all over the world come. And I think what I do see this year is I see that there's even more healthcare professionals who are going to come. And I'm not just talking about, the clinicians who are all wonderful, but I'm also the nurses and the physiotherapists and the trial coordinators who are so important for the community, and they really want to meet you and they really want to learn from you. I can tell you that they probably learn as much from you as you do from them. So do come along and take part, and we'll have a great enjoyable weekend. We'll have a great dinner on the Saturday to celebrate it. And don't hesitate to reach out if you've got any questions. And we hope to see you there.
The best way to book as well is online. Or you can just call us, so we can actually go through that registration process online for you. So it's very, very, we try to make it as easy as possible to actually register. We also always make sure that everybody living with Duchenne and Becker comes for free. And obviously we also keep the price as low as we possibly can for the families. To encourage as many people as possible to come. And it's actually cheaper this year than last year.
Wonderful. And what's the date again?
So it's the 10th to the 12th of November. And the venue, we've changed the venue this year. It's the Birmingham Hilton Metropole. And there was a number of reasons why we've moved it to be more central to everybody to be able to come. But also, I think it's something like double the number of accessible rooms for adults and young people living with Duchenne to come and be comfortable and to not have to travel so far. And also the parking's brilliant. It's really easy to get to, very close transport links.
Oh, that's wonderful. Brilliant. Another great episode. So make sure you book either online or by calling up. And I'm sure we'll be talking again in the coming weeks just before the conference with some more updates. And hopefully I'll see you there. Thanks a lot, guys. and we'll speak to you again soon. Bye, guys.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Bye.